Pete Alonso has hit a record 10 home runs before the end of April, breaking the Mets record for most home runs before May. In that honor, instead of doing 10 things we hate about you, we're going to do 10 things we like about you, about Pete. It can be anything from on the field to off the field. So, David, let's start with you. What do you have?
I'll start with he's humble. He doesn't brag. He doesn't. He just goes around the bases. He credits his teammates when you ask him after the game, how the game went, even though he had 2 home runs. I love him. He's just quiet and he does his job and he's professional. I love him for that. Humble.
All right, Jerry?
I like that. I think I'm going to go right to the heart of what I love about. I love a lot of things, but I think his bat flip doesn't get enough love. It's signature. He has a signature like home run bat flip where he puts the hand on both ends of the bat and then a little twirl. It's not flashy. It doesn't go 30 feet in the air, but when he hits it, it. And he does that little, it's not quite on the level of the Griffey bat drop, but it's in that same, less is more kind of approach. And in today's, day and age of flashy celebrations, it's a little subtle. And so I appreciate, him staying on that. So I think his bat flip for me is one of the things that I love.
When you're hitting so many, it has to be signature at this point. David, back to you for number 3.
Okay, so I know I mentioned he was humble, and then we went into bat flip. So I'm going to go into, I love that he has a different handshake and fist bumping for whoever's batting 5th. So what he does with Canna is different than what he does with Vogelback. It's different than what he does with McNeil. So I do like that he's got a different prepared thing for whoever's batting after him. In fact, I said to somebody on social media that Mark Canna's highlights of the year so far were that he fist bumps Alonso really well. That's his highlight. So I like Pete's varied celebrations at home plate.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I'm actually going to jump in here. One thing that I really like about Pete Alonso, and this kind of goes way back off the field, but it's the fact that he really took out the time to learn Spanish and work on his fluency in Spanish so that he can communicate with a lot of his other teammates. So I appreciate that because that's super thoughtful. All right, Jerry, back to you.
I like that. And just so you know, David, he has a different handshake with basically every single Met. So if it's the guy hitting behind him, if he's not there that day, he's going to get him in the dugout and do the little chest bump or whatever it is.
Terrific.
So it's that's one of the best parts about baseball, or the handshakes that you have. I'm going to say, you use the word humble. I'm going to use the word earnest for Pete Alonso. And a lot of it has to do with his post-game interviews, the way he conducts himself. He's true to himself. He doesn't try to be too cool or too representative. He just is earnest with who he is and who he's trying to portray himself. It's not an act. He just comes across, very, very earnest. Like he is who he is. And I appreciate that.
Okay. Back to you, David.
I like that as good of a hitter as he is, he cares an awful lot about his defense. For a guy who's bigger and hits the way he doesn't have to care about being a Gold Glove first baseman, but he cares like he wants to win the Gold Glove at first base. It bothers him when he doesn't play well. He's gotten a lot better than when he first came up. He scoops the ball really well. He's making better plays to second. I really admire that he works that hard on his defense for a guy who doesn't need to. He could be a one-dimensional player and nobody would fault him for it, and I appreciate that with him. And he doesn't want to DH. Although his numbers are up, he wants to play the field, and I love it.